What up, though? You already know how it goes. Smash, like, subscribe, comment. I don't care what you comment as long as you comment. The topic is inmate kills gay bunkie after repeated requests to or to switch rooms, right? So it was two inmates at Alger Correctional Facility. One was gay, one wasn't, right? They label him homophobic or whatnot, but just because a guy don't want to bunk with somebody that's a homosexual nature doesn't mean that they're homophobic. That's not true. Inmate Rodriguez was the homosexual. Inmate Madden, which came down only with 16 years. And notice I say only because I'm so used to them football numbers, 40, 50, 60 years. He came down with 16 years at, what, 23 years of age, 22 years of age. And he won't be getting out to 2090. He got convicted of second-degree murder of his cellmate and was sentenced to 60 years. And in Michigan, when they give you 60 years, it's no good time. So that means you're doing 100% of the time. And 100% of 60 years is what? 60 years. So that means you're going to be doing every piece of that time until they change the rules. I doubt that they do. Hopefully they do for some people, but it is what it is. You got to deal with the consequences of your actions. But when Rodriguez came to a cell and they was assigned cells, now you don't get to pick your cellmate, they do, and they're supposed to follow a chart. If they can hook you up with, they can look at region, they're supposed to look at size, personality, predator in your file, victim in your file, so on and so forth. Now, if they change everybody's room who was bumped with a homosexual, they'll be doing a lot of change. And there's work behind that because they got to do paperwork. They don't be feeling like that. They just want to come in there and do their 8 hours and they want to leave. Police don't really care who you bump with, what the problem is. It's going to have to be serious. One thing that I use is I used to write to the unit manager. And I used to say my religion allows me not to be with a certain person like this. I am supposed to take every precaution at first before I act out, and I usually would move my bunkie if I didn't want to be a bunkie. Now, I don't have a problem with people of the LGBTQ community. I don't. But the problem lies in, for y'all who asking, why did he want to switch cells so bad? Why couldn't he just deal with it? He's in prison. It's because you care about your image. You don't want the rumors surfacing, especially if you belong to a gang. You don't want rumors surfacing that you stand in a room with a homosexual. Anything could be going on in there. Oh, you don't have a problem with bunking with a homosexual? That's how they think. And they start putting all these labels on you and all these stigmas, all these rumors, and people don't want to deal with that. So I guess Madden repeatedly requested to be moved, and they wouldn't do it. So he beat the inmate up. Now, a lot of times when a guy kills somebody in a joint, they don't mean to. Because let's just say you go to stab somebody, right? And you go to stab them here. And then they turn and you hit them in their heart. Now you got a body. You could go stab them in their face, their eye, and they move, and you hit them in the main artery. You got a murder case. You stabbed them. Who was to say it wasn't intentional? It's going to be very hard for you to prove that that murder wasn't intentional when you go to those lengths to stab somebody. That's how it goes. It's hard to prove that, so you're going to get hit with the murder. So he got convicted of second-degree murder, 60 years. And then he didn't even stab the guy, he just beat him up. A lot of times when you get in a fight in a cell, not a lot of times, but it's possible when you get in a fight in a cell, you can hit somebody and they fall and hit their head. It's all concrete. It's all sharp objects like, you know, the corners of the desk, the heaters. It's nothing but steel, metal, aluminum. So you can fall and hit your head easily and die. It's that easy. I remember at Marquette level 5, I was there. A guy was about to go home. He was about to max out in like maybe 6 months or less than that. His gang, I believe it was the Vice Lord, sent him to attack another inmate on a walkway. He walk up to the guy, he punches him, and dog don't wake up. Now you got another 9 years for a manslaughter. You punched him and he died. You never know what type of medical condition somebody got. Tumors in their head, brain damage already, or they prone to seizures, or so on and so forth. Or you can hit somebody in the back of the head and swelling occur, and they could turn into a paraplegic, or they could die. You never know what's going to happen once you put in that work. Once you touch that person, meaning to do him harm, you never know what's going to happen. They ask for requests to be moved. The homosexual guy, if he wanted to change that situation, you know what he could have did? He could have said, hey, I want to commit suicide. So he would send him to the hole, dressed him down in a paper gown. He would have been over there for a day or so, and then would have came back and had a whole new bunkie probably. The other guy could have did the same thing. Madden, he could have did the same thing. It's funny, he's my friend's co-defendant. She only got 5 years. He got 16 years. I guess his criminal record was worse. She say he told on her. I don't know. I didn't look in the details of the case. I'm just saying this is what she says. She was just caught up in that situation. She didn't tell. I seen her paperwork. She stayed solid. Free Coco. She locked up again, but hopefully she come home soon and turn over a new leaf, because she deserved that for real, because she a real one. But if you got a homosexual bunkie, know that rumors are going to come with it, and you got to be able to deal with it. And sometimes you might have to physically put a bunkie out to a room because they don't want to leave. They don't want to look like the punk, or they feel like, hey, look, I was here before you. I was here before you. You should leave. So you got those discrepancies of people dealing with pride, and you see what happens when you deal with pride. Bad things happen. Somebody could have just moved. Somebody could have just simply moved. Somebody could have simply said, hey, I don't feel safe here. I want to lock up. Hey, I want to go to the hole. Hey, I'm feeling suicidal. Hey, I'm feeling homicidal. And they would have took you to the hole, changed your room, put you somewhere else, and he would have had a new bunkie. Some people just don't want to bunk with homosexuals. And I had no problem with them. A lot of people don't have no problem with them, but when you're in prison in that environment and you got a reputation and image to protect, you'll do anything to protect it. So for those who like, oh man, why would he just wouldn't deal with it? Hey, why didn't he just move? It's not that easy. You can't just say, hey, I don't like my bunkie, I want to move. You have to have an agreement with somebody else to move. And a lot of people don't want a homosexual in their room or move into the room with one, because if you voluntarily move into the room with one, that's even more rumors and rumors and rumors. And if you're a gangbanger, a prominent member of an organization, they're going to be like, why do you want to bunk with a homosexual? What's going on? You could get hurt just because of that, or the guy that you're bunking with can get hurt just because of that by your people. Not even necessarily you, by your people. Just because they mad, one of the top outstanding members in a room with a homosexual. Now, if he had some power, and he could have made somebody else do something to him to get him off the yard. Like when they all got out the cell and went to the yard, he could have had somebody attack him and send him to the hole so he'd get a new bunkie. But I guess he didn't, or wanted to take it into his own hands. I don't know what happened in that cell. But it's crazy how he came down with 16 years, right? Which would have put him at, that was 2000 and 17 they got locked up, 16. And his out date would have been like 2032. Now his out date is 2090. 2090. When they say flying cars might be around, it just may be 2090. Those numbers just scare me, man. It make me feel some type of way inside. I get butterflies saying those type of numbers. That's crazy. All because he didn't want a gay cellmate. But that's how it goes in prison. I don't make the rules. Peace and blessings be to y'all. Big 5.